So if I want to make my own blueprint, what I'm going to do is click on Content Drawer, and I'm going to navigate to my folder, and I'm going to right click in the black area where there's nothing, where it says drop files, or right click to create content. And I'm going to right click, and you're going to see I get a menu that pops up, and this explains some of the different things that this is all the different things that you could add to your game, right, into your viewport. And so what we want is a blueprint class. And we open that up, and you're going to see a variety of things in here. And something that's going to be a little hard, at least it was for me to initially grasp, is that anything and everything that we're going to put in our world is called an actor. Like, I don't know about you, but I think of actors as human beings and stuff, but it's also, they count it as an object that can be placed or spawned in the world. So any kind of object, even if it is a plant or a light bulb, right? It's called an actor, and we're going to be able to put that into our environment. And so we're going to click actor, and you're going to see we get a new blueprint class. And so I'm just going to, I will say what I'm going to do here is I'm going to name it BP is the beginning part. And the reason that is because it's a blueprint. Later on, when we're going to need to look for things, having stuff that we name in a certain naming convention is going to help immensely for finding that stuff later. So if you're consistent and you're helpful, you're going to find the stuff that you need when you need it. So I'm going to call it blueprint, and I'm going to use underscore. You should never use spaces in any of the names that you're going to be making. Again, for just, it's a programming concept. Spaces break systems. Try not to use spaces. You could use underscores or just delete the spaces and just mush everything together. I'm going to use an underscore in this case. And I'm going to say flag. So, because I'm going to make my own flag for the beginning content. So this kind of is getting into your project for the week of what you need to do. So we're going to make a flag. And I'm going to double click this, and it's going to open up. And one of the things it does is it opens it in a new window. So I will have a video that shows how to have it open up in the same window later, because I personally don't like it opening up in a new window. But you're going to look and see, and it looks very similar to the window we were in, but you can see it's different. It doesn't, I have a viewport, but it's not the same viewport as I had before, right? And you can see this has similar things around it. We have the details pane on the right hand side, and then we have a components page on the left hand side, and we have a my blueprints on the left. And then at the bottom we still have our content drawer out. So we have a lot of similar stuff, but we have a new thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to click add on the left hand side in the components. At the top you're going to see that there's an add button, and I'm going to hit add, and what I want to do is just, I want to add a cylinder. So I'm going to just type in CYL, and I'm going to click on it, and it's going to automatically add it to my window. And what we're doing is we're creating our own blueprint of an object that we're going to add. So I'm going to make my own flag for capture the flag, because that's what our first little game is going to be. It's just going to be a simple capture the flag. You'll see I have like a little cylinder now in my window, and I could use the object things of being able to move it around and do things with it. So I could change its location. And if you'll notice here on the right hand side in the details pane, I have a value, and you'll see that there's this little arrow next to the location. If I click that arrow, it will send it back to the default of location where it was. So we could just leave it at 0 zeros on everything, right? Everything's at zeros. And but I want to make it bigger, right? That's not going to be a good flag. We want it to be bigger. So I'm going to switch my view to the scaling, and I'm just going to grow it. And now you're going to see it's kind of growing. And if I put this in my world, it may or may not be good, like depending upon where we are, but we kind of have a pole, right? I want to make it a little thinner because now it's not a pole anymore. So now it looks more like a pole, right? And then I want a flag. It needs to look like a flag. So I'm going to add, and something I could add that will possibly make it look like a flag is a plane. So there's a plane right here. So I'm going to click that and add that to it. And you see where it added it. I want to play around with that. I don't want it, that definitely does not look like a flag, right? It's cutting the middle of the pole. So what we want to do is rotate it. So we're going to move the rotation, and we want to make it look kind of more like a flag. And now we also have to move it and move it to the top, right? And it's actually pretty small, so let's make it a little bit bigger. We can make it a little wider and a little longer. That looks more like a flag, right? And then you always have to make sure you go around the whole thing, because it can change what it looks like. If I wanted to, I could also change some of the colors of this, right? Or let's move it a little too. It's a lot inside there, so. And we might have a little slight issue that our plane isn't on both sides. But we can, on the right hand side under the details pane, this is the material. So the material is saying what it's made of. And, you know, we could come in here and change it. I like that. We get a rainbow flag. I like that a lot. And then we're going to click on the pole, or the cylinder. It should be brown. So we'll see if we have any brown things. Or wood. Nope. So we can just look at the materials that we have. I am on the materials, right? Oh, that's better. There you go. So now it kind of looks like a flagpole, right? I have a slight problem because the flag is one-sided and we need it to be double-sided. So to deal with that, we will look at that in a minute. Now what we're going to look at is there's some things in our screen that we haven't talked about. On the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see it has a thing like a little save icon, and it'll say 8 unsaved. And if you click that, it'll bring up a window, and it says all this content is things that we've changed, right? That we haven't saved yet. So we haven't saved. So if our system crashes, which it can do without much notice, that's what a crash is, right? But I mean, it happens a lot on our school computers, so just be careful. So we want to save often. So save early and often is my goal and what I always try to tell people. And then at the top left, you'll see there's also a part that says compile. Now we haven't changed anything about the code. All we've done is created an object that we're going to, or an actor that we're going to put in our environment, and we haven't made it do anything. So hitting the compile button basically is just the thing that you click to make sure that your, whatever you've done in your object is good, that there's no problems with it. If we'd done something wrong, this would have had an error and we would have had to look it up. So we did good. So in the next video, I will walk through how we add this item into our game.